Okay, let's see what we're doing. See what we're doing. Hey, good morning, everybody. The I'm having to turn off um, the tennis
This is unexpected news.
because we're going to go live. But right now, there's an upset going on. Eubanks, who I can't tell. I wanted to look it up. Eubanks, maybe he's as tall as Medvedev, but he's one tall guy. He's beating. He's beating.
You like apples, chat?
He's beating. Wow, Alcaraz and Rune are on serve. So, oh no, turn off the tennis or not turn off the tennis. I had to. In 5 minutes, we're gonna have the one and only hamster to tell you a couple of things. One of them, I think he's going to tell you, is the options in Finger. If you own them, you can sell some of the higher options in June against them. So you lock in. I don't know. Right now the stock's $6. If you sold the $10 calls for, I don't know, 50 cents. I'm not looking. And you bought the sixes maybe for 40 cents. You sell the tens, you have a net positive, and if the stock goes to 20, you're capped out at 10. But if it closes at 8 by the end of the week, you keep the $2 on the sixes and you get all the premium on the tens. That's one way to hedge your bet. All right, I'm going to call in 3 minutes. Let me just get the quote. This will be the last time I can see the quote. It's 612 and a half. The volume is 2 million shares. I ask you, where did those 2 million shares come from? If it were true that the Lynn Partners is an institutional fund manager, the stock was 7 this morning. Why wouldn't they be organizing the sales around 7 and a quarter? Instead, they just drive it down as low as possible because they're not money managers. They're crooks, or they're the face of crooks. They got it down to 583 low today. They're trying to shake everybody out. I don't think any of you sold in this. I don't think you had stop loss orders in. And when it turns, when they stop this, I think Cam will tell you that they called in favors from friends, maybe. But when they stop this selling, the stock's going to snap back like a rubber band. I can't talk to that guy right now. I'd like to, but I can't because I've got to call into him in 1 minute. So I'm kind of not able to do it. Ryan, somebody forgot to tell the algos about 527. Okay, I sold at 694 and rebought. There you go, Barry. Now you're being an actor rather than a statue. That's great. And I'm not saying you, not you. I'm giving you personally credit, but I'm not being negative about you personally. Your first stop loss order is 100. I know those 2 or 3 decimal places, Pete, are communication, and it's not legal. But in the world of Gary Gensler, he allows it to go on. That's communication. So they're asking their friends maybe in Germany or Panama or Bangladesh to sell, and that's their code they're using. I don't know the code, but you bought 14 calls. That's great. Remember, they expire next Friday. So I think you need to make it a goal as you get profits to take your original money off and even roll them into August, maybe this end of this week, beginning of next week. The premiums are strong, but the bids can disappear at any time. I don't think they're going to be able to keep the stock down because of what Tom Ronk said, which is the buy-in has begun. And remember, okay, I got to call in. I got to call in. I got to find the darn number. Here it is. Let's go. You're on.
Hi, William there.
I'm here.
All right, everyone. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just us giving our opinions on what we're seeing in the naked short selling fraud. If you don't have the time or patience to listen and understand, you will be robbed and looted by these characters. All right, so let's go. Bear rate attacks, one into GTII, which is trading 137, knocking it down to 122, and finger motion, the attack from $7 straight down. Just remember, you think about Lind Partners or whoever the short is in GTII working together. They're standing up and saying, sell as much as you can, as fast as you can, as low as you can. All right, that's their pattern. That's their game plan. The only reason they're doing it is margin problems. An investor just told me that he thinks that the shorts are listening to the calls. No shit. We all know that. We call them right out every day. We're letting you know how they're doing it. Today, in finger motion, they're hitting and washing all the big bids. I usually don't report washing trades back and forth. But in finger motion today, they had an easy one. They put up a bid for 30,000, and in 30 seconds, they started hitting it. All right? They want you to believe there is nothing but sellers. Every time you take an offer, there's someone else with another offer. That is the naked short pressing his bet, trying to hold it down to stop the upside momentum. And you can see, everyone, that they drop the option prices real quick. They want you to panic out, close out those positions. This is the fraud that we're talking about. We report it every day. It's nice to see it when it's going up because the margin is getting them. We tell you every day, keep rolling your calls. This is where you take money off the table and you keep playing with free money. Okay, this is what we don't know when they're going to attack. Obviously, they are feeling the heat and they need to attack like crazy. That's what you're saying. Again, selling it lower. They're going nowhere. The short's 155 million. Now the short's 156 million today. Today the naked short number is going way up. All right, they're just blasting away. Now, I spoke with William earlier, and I gave him my opinion that I could see the Kramers, who are getting their hands tied wherever they are, reaching out to their network of thugs and having them go out and try to slam it for them, and hopefully they can shake the tree and get people to come out of the stock. That's the game plan. All right? But at the end of the day, whoever is the lending hand doing it someplace else, okay, trying to do it for the day, naked short selling, like Timothy Sykes did, only this is a bigger player. This is what they do. They pack in like a pack of wolves. They probably go in, and this is my opinion, Lynn. They're probably paying somebody in cash on the side to go out there and attack it and say, hey, guys, we need some help. Knock this down. You owe us a favor, or some nonsense like that. But it's funny how they both were attacked at the same time. It's the same patterns every day. All right? So, again, the pressure is mounting on the short side. Again, I reported it to the SEC. Anybody else is welcome to call up. Just look at today's chart pattern. Just tell them to follow the sell tickets today. They don't have to go look anywhere else. Call the SEC up and just make the call yourself and tell them what you see. Show them the chart and ask them to look into the short selling today. What you have just witnessed is a bear raid to save margin money because they were choking to death. That's what this is about. William, you have anything to say?
One guy observed that a lot of trades have 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. I told him I think that's communication between them.
They won't work. There's a band of gypsies here. They brought in other people to try to help out. The new people that came in are hit and run people. They're just trying to come in here, steal, make 50 cents, sell 50,000 at the market at 6 3/4, or at 7 this morning. They're hitting the bids, and they just try to come back and try to cover. Again, how do you cover a stock without having it make it go back up? That's the trick. That's what they're trying to do. So they're trying to sell it down to get people to bail out. That's all they're trying to do. And as you can see, it was just offered at 615. Someone drops to sell 1,400 shares. 1,400 shares is trying to change the momentum in the stock. That's what they try to do. Right? They offer it, and if no one buys it, someone will jump in front of it, and they offer it lower again. That's what they do. That's the game plan.
It seems like, I don't have it open now, but it seems like 750 to 1 million shares just got sold ever lower, not in a professional way. What happens when that stops selling to the stock price?
Well, then it's just going to turn. If no one's selling, it's going to turn and rip back in their face.
Exactly.
They know it. We all know it. It happens. Go look at the bear raids that were in GameStop, Tesla, Volkswagen, any stock. They always have these attempts to try to get people to bail out. It's either you understand what's going on or you get bailed out. You panic out. That's the game. The SEC allows this type of manipulation. Okay? The SEC allows this. It's clear as day what's going on. They should actually come out and say, hey, when we see these attacks, we will investigate these attacks. That's what they should be saying. They're very easy to see. We reported it. You see those big, what do you call them, candles straight down, those red lines, where someone comes in and sells 1 million shares at the market, trying to knock it down as fast as they can. That is not normal trading. Okay? Selling 1 million shares and losing 50 cents is $500,000 in money out the window. All right? They're just doing it to get you to sell. Understand the game. It's not complicated. It has the same patterns. Now, I can't tell you how to trade or how to invest, okay? But if you're panicking out on the dips, then you're a novice, okay? If you're ever going to trade, you need to sell the rips and you buy the dips. That's what most people are taught. So when the stock looks great, you sell. You have 1,000, you sell 500, you're still involved. If it pulls back like this, you step in and you add to your position and you lower your cost. That's how professionals do it. All right, so wake up, understand it. What you're seeing here is the same pattern in any name you're trading. I don't care what stock it is. They all have this pattern. Okay, this is the pattern of these market makers using the market maker exemption to loot and steal money. The NASDAQ, SEC, FINRA, they all know this crime. They all know it. They keep telling us it's to add liquidity to the market. They are full of shit. It's been manipulation. And this is what you are seeing. So if you speak to your senators, congressmen, whoever you're speaking to D.C., this is the manipulation. This is, and I told Mark Bazile, this attack affects the market, the option markets also. So the fraud is expanded. Besides the equity, the option positions get marked down also. So they're stealing twice as much. All right, they're trying to steal twice as much. All right, the manipulation has spread from the stock to the option market. GTI does not have that. Again, GTI was acting great. They knocked it. They just kept selling it to knock it down. Why the attack? If you can sell stock at $1.37, who wants to sell it at $1.20? Think about that. 10,000 shares, you lost $1,700. It's down 10%. You lost 10% of your money because of the bear range. Right? This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to save their ass because they do not have the money for margin. That is what you're saying. I hope I stressed it strong enough. William, am I missing anything? I can't remember.
Well, no, I'm, it's not really a question, but this million shares volume or whatever it is right now that's just happened, these aren't real shares. Nobody's selling. They're not getting real shares to sell. So
no, that's them selling. And when they stop selling, as soon as they stop selling, the stock goes sideways and then starts to tick up. That's all it is. And once it starts to tick up, the shorts are going to sit there and say, shit, throw another 10,000 out there. Call Tony, call Baloney, call anybody. Get him to sell 5,000. Anybody to try to stop it.
And their credit will run out. People aren't going to trust them.
Well, no, the people they're bringing on today are just hired assassins for a daily trade. That's it.
And they'll cover by the end of the day.
And when they can't make money on it and it turns, if this stock goes green, all the new assassins that are here, the daily trading assassins, they will panic faster than anyone, and that will drive it higher. So they're in a tough spot right now because they need to protect the assassins that they threw on us. Because if they cannot protect them and the stock goes up, they all get crushed. So this is a very deadly situation for the short sellers here. All right, so they need people to panic out quickly so that their new friends can steal and buy your stock and make some money. That's what they're trying to do.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm saying the new short sellers that are brought in are daily traders. They come in, they sell what they can, and then they just try to cover on your panic. All right, that's what they try to do.
You warned us originally that there would be violent up and down moves. And that's sure enough, that's what's happening.
Well, they need, again, accumulation is how you kill them. Volatility is what they need to stay alive. The volatility cannot go to the upside. The volatility has to go to the downside all the time, as you can see. Right? If it was me, I would have opened the stock at $10, $12, volatility up, and then drive it lower. These guys cannot do that because they do not have the money to meet the margin call. That's why they attack down all the time. It's the same pattern. They have to push it down. They're over leveraged. For those who say, oh, wow, it's 155 million shares short. Yes. Why do we know that? Just look at the trading pattern. The trading pattern is trying to push it down. If it was 10 million shares, they would take it up higher, right?
Well, just look today. Just look today at 613, 2,000,001. This would be a perfect time to cover. There's no evidence that they're covering anything right now.
Right. Listen, again, they're in a panic. You can see it yesterday. The stock had a completely different look. All right, they're in a panic. They needed the night. I guess they didn't like my Prel commercial video from 40 years ago. They know that when people start telling their friends to buy it, just think about it. They're trying to get everybody we know in the free world to all get in at a better price. Thank you very much. That's how it works.
I remember those Prel commercials. We'll tell two friends and they'll tell two friends. I also remember that same time was, who likes short shorts? We like short shorts.
Well, I can tell you this. I got 5 calls from people that missed the stock that are stepping in and buying it now because they've seen the attack. And they're professionals and they step in. That's how it works.
Well, that's one question somebody asked is, Who is doing the buying? Is it a whale or is it widespread?
It's people with buy tickets.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a difference who it is. I can't. Listen, if you're a professional big player, this is what they want. They want people to sell it to them also. So the shorts are competing with the big players standing here. Remember, big players not here to help anyone here. They could give a rat's ass about everyone on this call. They're here to accumulate for themselves.
But we can play that to our advantage.
No, that's I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I'm just
I know.
telling you that's how they think. The mentality is, hey, those people on that conference call are all down 30 cents today. Let's see if we can help them out. That's not what they're doing. Their job is to buy as many millions as they can in their advantage, and then when the time comes and it goes, they make the money. That's Wall Street. This isn't like we're all friends. We all skip down the street. For example, I always get a kick when selling comes. We got these shorts coming in, they attack it. It's not like they tell all their friends, let's all sell it at the same time. Hurry up, let's all sell it, mark it down lower so we all get less. This is one person orchestrating this whole thing.
There's a question here which I think shows part of the explanation is hard to get across. But he asks, what if the assassins quit today? Who covers?
Their prime broker. When they stop selling, Ned Starks has a beautiful photo up there of someone. When you take your foot off the landmine, Pat Byrne told us a long time ago, you take your foot off the landmine, what happens? It blows up. Once they take their foot off their finger off the sell button, what happens? It blows up. All right? Right now they have control, but I don't believe they have control much longer. This stock has, both stocks really looks like they're losing control on both. Okay, I do think the regulators are putting pressure on the short sellers and the prime brokers. They grabbed that guy Savvy. All right, they talked about his naked short selling scheme. We put it up there 100 times. The DOJ is coming after these guys. Their backs are to the wall. When this turns and it goes up, this is 100 times more deadly for the short sellers because they now have weak short sellers they're trying to assist them, and these guys will stab their own mothers to make 25 cents.
Can you go over what happened? I think it was in October, November, but to my memory, there was about 5 million, 6 million shares short, and Lynn Partners sold 95 million in about 10 days. That's my memory. You probably have it crystal clear. My point being, there's no real, for all the charts out there, there's no real resistance here. Nobody's bought higher. People don't have high cost bases.
I'm not a chart person.
Yeah.
I know how to take advantage of these attacks and spikes. That's what we're professional people. That's what we do. Whether it's options, people, you have to understand, options, you're allowed to trade them. People buy stocks, they buy 1,000 shares of stock, goes up 30 cents. They trade it, a lot of people. They make 30 cents, it's $300. You buy 10 calls and it runs up 40 cents, you can sell them. You make $400. If it pulls back, you can buy it back. You don't have to stand there like the Statue of Liberty. The name of the game is to try to make money and lower your costs and have a position at the lowest cost possible. My friend works for a big fund that owns millions of shares of Apple. Her job is just to trade Apple. She knows no other stocks, just Apple. Her job is when it runs up 8 points, she sells stock, 10 million shares of their fund stock. If it pulls back down $1, they can make $10 million. That's what they do. They trade around their positions all the time, and they just keep lowering their costs. Instead of $100 after 3 days of trading, she may get it down to where it's $99.75. After a month, it could be $99. It goes down like that. And she gets paid based on the percentages of profits she made from trading just Apple. So that's the name of the game. They all try to lower their costs, and that's how they make more money in the long term.
Can you explain again your strategy if you own, say, the 3 calls, the 5 calls, the stock's up, how you would take your profits and then go buy with
I helped someone today who had long 150 of the, I'll say 5s or 6, I forgot. Instead of selling the 5s, they sold the 14 calls at 35 cents to open. Okay? So basically, they're long the 5s, I'll just say the 5s, and they sold the 14s. The most they can make is the difference between 5 and 14. Okay, so that's all they can make is $9. Once it goes over 14, they lose their options, and that's the end of it. If the stock goes to 100, the most they can make is that $9. But what they did is they took their money off the table. They paid 25 cents for the 5s. They sold the 14s at 35, so they're plus 10 cents. All that money's in their pocket again, and they have a $9 spread for free. All right? And that's one way to hedge and try to increase your portfolio and take risk off the table. All right? Instead of being straight long, what I always told people is the stock's going like it has, sell some of those 5s, 6s, Anna, sell them, and then you buy cheaper calls with your profits and put some money in your pocket. I hope you paid attention. All right? I know Todd did. All right? If I can help an airline pilot learn how to trade stock options, okay, I can help anybody to do it. All right? He's just flying a plane in a circle.
Does this bear raid push back the squeeze or push back the buy-in?
This bear raid makes it better. First of all, nothing goes up in a straight line forever, number one. If you looked, I put the chart up of VW short squeeze up, down, sideways. They do anything to try to get people to bail out. But if you have the education and understanding and can see the proof and the data, you can figure it out and you know when to stay, when to go. All right? If the story's changing, move it along. If the story's not changing, then you need to figure it out. Say, hey, I'm going to stay this long, that long. I can't help you on that. That's your own business.
A related question. How come the $5.27 level didn't cause the outgoes to start buying?
$5.27 to $7. The guy said it's going to take 3 weeks of this buy-in. It's going to continue and continue. And he's, to me, it looks like he's right on. Again, I don't follow that stuff. I make my decisions on trading and what I see. But again, the accumulation of the stock, all right, we know there's big players around sucking up the stock. We all know that. All right, so these guys bash it, and these guys get it at their price. Again, they're not here to help us. Accumulation is the game. Spikes are not the game. We want everyone here, including myself, say, spike it, go to 15, hurry up, I want to have a party. I want to go to Las Vegas. We all want that, right? We all want that. Okay, but this is reality on Wall Street. The shorts are given this leverage and this time by the SEC and the DTC. These guys are navigating their prime brokers. Someone's allowing these guys to wiggle. There is no way anyone on this phone could have the same leverage that these guys have had. These guys have lost hundreds of millions of dollars in the last few days. And you can see as the stock got to 7, they're in a panic. All right? They didn't want it to go past 7. If they were flush and had plenty of money, they would have let the stock go higher and shorted it higher. They can't. That is the same pattern. I'll relay it to GameStop. They were trying to hold it down at $3.75. What happens when it broke? It spiked, pulled back, and then it zoomed to 500. FNGR, it spiked, it's pulling back. What's the next leg? That's how I look at it. Where are they going?
Somebody pointed out that ARCA talked about a downside target like yesterday at 590. So they are listening. I think everybody, if you're trading off
listen, listen, guys, they use the chart thing to torture you guys like, to treat you like trash. That's just the way it is. If they saying 590, he's saying this, I can see that. Well, you know what? you do what you have to do. I don't listen to chart guys. It's impossible to chart fraud. Okay? You're telling me everybody sold it today to try to knock it down to 590 so our chart guy can hit his target and then turn around and buy it all back? All right? Anyone who's listening to that nonsense, you need to go back to wherever. Charts work in real stocks. Apple, IBM, Walmart, Home Depot. Tell Mr. Arca to start put up some charts on the real stocks. Let's see the targets on real stocks. Tell me that. All right.
Well, he's gotten some of it right. I wasn't picking on him so much.
I'm not saying that. I just listen. Chart things. If you're going to follow those things, that means that you sold it down, you bailed out, and when the stock turns, you're sitting there with your finger up your ass. That's it. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's right. Because it can. Let me ask you that.
When the people who sold GameStop. Go ask the people who sold GameStop when it ran to 9 and pulled back to 5, how they felt when it went to 500 because there was a chart guy saying it's going to touch 490. Go ask those people. Go ahead. Good luck.
Well, no, the one thing, and this is my question, just to show that I'm a dumbbell. But if Tom Runk's saying the squeeze is going to take 3 weeks, could that be that Jeffries is giving the Lynn partners 3 weeks to sort their own problem?
It goes in waves. There could be 10 guys short this thing, and they all have different levels they break at. So it comes in waves, which is a good sign because they start breaking. Shorts break independently. For example, William, if you're short and I'm short and we're both short, you're looking at me saying, William, you still short? You're saying, yeah. While you're hanging up the phone, William is covering, and I'm sitting there saying, that fucking William, I know he's covering. They run in front of each other. What are you kidding me? The guys that shorted it today are kamikazes, and the first picks up, these guys steal from their own moms. That's what these guys are. These pack of wolves that naked short. We all know them. They're at these day trading firms. They put up 100,000 and they get the leverage to naked short without a borrow. That's what they do. And they do a bear raid. They were instructed by someone to help them out, and that's what they did. So they went to a group of people, and that's what we have. So now we have Lynn, and we probably have 25 little pikers in here that are short between 10 and 100,000 shares, and these guys short for the day, trying to steal a trade. That's what they're trying to do.
Somebody just wrote, "Am I short? I'm 5'7". Anyway, Diego, but so I lost my track. Several people have asked. Apparently, earnings are coming out tomorrow or something. They're asking if you have any comment. If you don't know, you don't know. But
listen, I heard that they're coming out. A lot of people have told me, and I assume they're coming out. They said they were supposed to report today, tomorrow, Friday, whatever it is. The companies, just go read the last financial statement. The trend is your friend. It's going straight up like a bottle rocket. So for someone to shorting this stock, trying to push it down, the stock price has nothing to do with the fundamentals of this company growing. If the company's fully funded, they don't need any money. They don't need any money. And, obviously you can read it. Go read the financials. It says they're fully funded and they're, ripping the cover off the ball. That's it. So who's shorting it down? Someone who needs to cover.
Right.
This is all about, these conversations that we're having is about naked short security fraud. Okay? Fundamentals, you have to read it and determine what you see yourself. I can't advise you on that. Okay? My opinion on it, Finger Motion is a company that is exploding, and that's my opinion on it. Go watch the videos. I tell everyone to do the same thing. All right? There's a guy that's trapped that had a debenture. He's paid off. He's done. He's exposed now, and that's the problem. Same thing happened in Wolf. All right? They paid off Yorkville. Yorkville is short, and we sat there and waited. We waited, and the stock finally exploded below $1. Went to $3.50 today. Right? Once you pay off the debentures, the stocks have a different look. GTI paid off the debenture with the Kramers. The stock went from 60 cents, all right, lower than that. It went to $9. They beat it back down with Alpine. Now we got proof from Alpine. And what's the next leg of this thing? These things don't go away. They don't cover. They thought we were going away. We're not going away. We're getting stronger.
Somebody's saying GTII unbelievable. That's down a little bit too, but it's not unbelievable. That's normal.
Well, it's 137. They bashed it down to 115. Volatility. Write it down on your hands. They need volatility. I say it every day. They need volatility, but the volatility always comes down, because they want you to panic. Hurry up, sell. The world's ending. Sell it lower, sell it faster. They can't cover. How do you cover 400 million shares in GTII? They need you to sell. How do you cover 155 million in Finger? They need you to sell. Hurry up, sell more. It's the same pattern.
To me, the only place they're going to find sellers is at much higher prices.
I said sellers come in when it goes up. Buyers come in when they push it down. They are frauds. That's why they're trapped. That's how we can tell they're trapped. You know exactly the pattern. It's the same pattern.
I wonder if their crack research team is prepared to analyze the earnings report.
Yes, as soon as they come out, it's a sell. They actually doing better. Hurry up. They can't possibly do any better. That's what they say. Whatever it is. If they sell it, it's the company's growing at 5,000% a quarter. No, it's not good enough.
There's what should warm your heart is several people have either sold and now we're buying more, or are simply buying while it's down. So that should warm your heart that
people are learning the trading game. We as investors, you are not the Statue of Liberty. You can actually buy a stock, you can sell a stock, you can buy it back, you can do whatever it takes. I just told you about my friend. She just trades Apple. Okay? Millions of shares. If she can make 25 cents, okay, on 10 million shares of Apple for the week, it's $2.5 million, okay? She gets paid based on that, and the fund their cost gets lower. So there's all types of people like that in this world doing stuff like that in trading. The trading patterns we're seeing in Finger and GTIR are just fraud, naked shorts trying to hold the stock down. That's all it is. As long as you can see the pattern, you can learn how to trade around the pattern and invest. You can make money, but you need to understand what they do. And I always said, if you wanted to buy, you buy half, bid for half. Buy half, bid for half. This way you get an average price in. So if you paid $7 and you bought 2,500, buying 2,500 at 630 brought your average down to 675, whatever it may be, and it's a better price because you don't know how fast they're going to drive it down. But when it turns, you're in position. That's how you do it. That's how you're supposed to play. You can do it in options. You can do it in stock. It's the same patterns. Understand how to take advantage of these guys panicking. What you're seeing in Finger Motion is a short seller panicking. Okay? He'll do anything. What's the difference? I'm short 155 million. I'm dead. What's another million? Right? That's the theory.
Well, it's like all these assassins are playing liar's poker with each other. One of them's going to cut first.
You're guaranteed when they stop selling, the bids will firm up and they'll start taking offers because the guy's going to sit there and say, okay, I sold 50,000 at 675. I got 50 cents in my pocket. Let me start scooping it up and get the hell out of here. That's what they do, one at a time.
How far does the credit extend for guys like Lynn Partners? Maybe the assassins are backed by their promise.
Oh no! Listen, the group of outside assassins are small players at these day trading firms. They just bring them in and they helping them out. That's all it is. Okay?
And if they have a loss, is there
no one is taking big risk in these names because they know Lynn is short. If Lynn decides to buy in, they all get killed together, right?
Right.
Now, I can guarantee you that these guys have been burnt. The assassins come in, they short it down, and guys like Lynn scoop them up and then destroy them all. You know, to save their own ass, they take advantage of their friends. I'm sure that happens a lot.
Well, it's
You understand what I said?
yeah, I do. I mean, you
Like
don't want to
Lynn
be
is
in a
telling
foxhole with
Lynn
these
is
guys.
telling everybody the stock is going to go down. We're going to kill it. Everybody shorts it, and Lynn is out there buying it, and now all their friends are short. Trust me, Wall Street does that all the time.
They're still basically $1 above all the price of all of their shorting they've ever done in this stock is still $1 above it. So
Again, listen, they're trying to relieve the pressure, but again, the people they bought in are very short-term traders, okay, and they're just looking to steal what they can and move along. That's it.
this one gentleman asked, "Is this the same pattern that happened with GME?" And it occurs to me one difference is we have an educated consumer, like Cy Simmons would say now.
No, that's engaged up at 3 3/4. Okay, I pounded the street. I'll be the first to tell you. I told about 8,000 people. I told everyone. I wrote a report on it and sent it out to everybody. Okay, but people were coming back. Oh, the company's going to zero. All that nonsense. So a lot of people got scared away. People were afraid to buy the calls. They said the stock is never going to move. All right, the stock started to move, popped up to 5 6, then it went to 9, and then all of a sudden went down real fast down to 5 or 6 again. Okay, so you get these elevated drops, and people get panicked out. Listen, that's just you're up 3 points in the stock. People are like, oh my God, I've got 20,000 shares up 3. I'm up 60,000. I can go buy a new car. That's how people think.
What do you think the future is for Jeff Easton and Philip Vallier at Lind Partners?
We have a friend on a boat. Our friend the Baker's driving around out by the Statue of Liberties. And he sent a photo of Rikers Island. He passed it, so we know where they're going next.
Someone asked, did the attack, was it a coordination with the option market makers, or did the options help them attack?
I don't think the option market makers. The option market makers is more about the price eroding, and strike prices, things like that. Whoever's selling the calls is absolutely tied to the short. We know that because they need to cover some. I don't know if the option sellers are the Kramers themselves or friends, but the pressure was mounting all over. They want to stop the upside. They want people. Listen, they know people were rolling their calls from the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and buying the cheaper calls.
Right.
So there's a lot of people who are moving around and are actually flush with cash and have taken a lot of money off the table. So they kind of that makes it super deadly because investors are not standing around like the Statue of Liberty. And if you did, you should understand how to actually, move your positions around and, get a cheaper cost basis. That's what the whole thing is about.
I know one Statue of Liberty that doesn't stand around. That's Syntex. Who sets the algo, and can they change the algo formula?
Well, I get the program is whoever's behind this will change that. Yeah, I don't control that, so it's not me. I don't know who's in control of it. But again, this is a pattern. This is all tied to Lind. This is not somebody else with an algorithm. This is tied to Lind. Again, the algorithms come on these names because of the debenture. They could have a programmer doing it for them. To set it. Hey, you know what? Sell for every 1,000 shares, short 800 of it. And let two buy 800, short 800 out of 1,000.
This question I would also relate to Lind Partners. I mean, in the past, every time they sold this high volume, it always worked. But the gentleman asks, if this bear raid doesn't work, do the assassins, do they just give up?
Oh, 100%. The longer the day, every minute that goes by, the short sellers who are the day trading short sellers are sitting just like you, looking at their machine. Who's bidding? Who's bidding 620? Is that you, Tony? No. Don't cover yet. We'll knock it down some more. And the other guy steps in and he covers. That's what they're doing. If there's 20 of them, they're all in a panic watching each other. I forget the name of that movie. They all stood in the garage and they all shot each other. I can't remember. It's like a Mexican
Oh, that was
standoff.
Desert Dogs. Dogs. Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're all standing there looking at each other with a gun pointed at each other. That's what the pack of wolves looks like. They're standing around, and everyone's looking, saying, stay tall, don't panic, don't cover, Lynn's got our back. And everybody's sitting there saying, screw you, I can make 50 cents, I'm out.
Why do
50,000 shares, 50 cents, I make 25,000. Screw you, I'm out of here, I'm going someplace else. That's what they all do. They all start to panic.
They've got 5,111 on the ask. I'm sure that's not communication. Why do you think GTII and Finger always move together?
Because there was a story written a long time ago on Zero Hedge, and since that point, the stocks have changed, and it brought different people to the play.
Okay. And one guy's asking, do these bear raids increase the naked shorts?
Yes. It does. If you sell it, a bear raid can only be when you sell something. It's not a bear raid by longs, that's for sure.
And one related to that, one guy said about Lynn Partners or whoever's selling, don't a high interest rates affect them? And do they just figure they're going bankrupt, so why not press their bet? They just don't care.
What you're seeing is everything that you can think of as the worst nightmare possible for Lynn Partners is right in your face. And the attack and the desperation, again, if I was short and I had plenty of money, I let the stock go higher. Why would you sell it down to 6 or 583? I want $1 less. I'd be sitting there saying, boy, I have all these retail suckers who believe this is a short squeeze. Let's take it up to $12. Let's get them all in. Let's rope them all in and then kill them, right? They can't let it go up. They don't have the money. That's why you see the bear rates. It's all about money. They don't have it. They sold so many shares, they cannot meet the margin calls. So their prime broker called them up last night and said, if this fucking stock isn't down below around $6 today, you're dead. That's what they said. That was the phone call. And it was just exactly using the same words that I just told you.
And then they called their friends and say, hey, buddy, can you lend me a dime?
I'll give you $100,000 in cash. Meet me on Madison Avenue and I'll pay you. Please go out there and do whatever you can. Our prime broker's not letting us do it anymore.
When they're going to whack you, when they're going to whack you, they always send one of your friends.
Okay.
Was that from Goodfellas?
I guess. I don't know. Listen, they need help. The prime broker is shutting down their sell button, so they have to go get somebody else who still is alive and can sell. That's what they do.
So, can a buy-in be partial?
A buy-in can happen at any time. The prime broker can say to them, hey, listen, hey, nice try. It didn't work. Buy in. You got to buy in $5 million today. That could happen in a second.
So in other words, it doesn't have to be the whole $150 million.
No, what they say to them, say, hey, we need $10 million in cash. If you don't have it, we got to buy in. We have to buy back in 10 million, 5 million shares or 10 million shares to help get that money back in. And now when they buy it, the stock goes up, and they call back and say, hey, you got another margin call. But they're going to say to them, you keep buying the stock in, you're forcing me to make the margin call. Well, either come up with money or we have to keep doing this. And it just keeps unwinding. That's the panic. There you go.
So if they said to him last night, if this goes over 7, we're buying in, we need it at 6, or we're buying you in, has the margin call gone away?
No, it's there. They're definitely communicating with their prime brokers on that. The prime broker, whoever's backing them, who's giving them the leeway, is 100% all over them because the attacks are telling you what's going on.
And it's just something
They're not doing the attacks because they have nothing else to do. You know, this is the attacks are here because they're getting pressure.
Yeah. Yep. All right, and they've stopped now. It's very low volume.
What happens is once they what can we say? What's the terminology?
Probe the downside.
once they shoot their loads, as we call it, then they run out of bullets. This is what happens. They run out of gas, and now they can sell stock back and forth, try to create nonsense like they're doing now. They're just trying to print it lower, hurry up, panic, everybody to panic. That's all they're trying to do.
Well, I mean, even if there were a real seller, who on earth would, when the stock's 7 bid or 7.10 bid, who would just sell pell-mell to drive it down $1 if they're selling? It doesn't make any sense.
So everyone on this phone, please pay attention. The attacks are here because they want you to think, oh my God, what happened? The stock is going straight down. I guess the short squeeze is over. I guess the company did something wrong. The company did this. The company did that. They try to create a panic. That's why they do it fast. They do it fast and they do it low to get you to panic. It's the same pattern over and over. Pick a stock and you can see the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, and I just, something when you were talking earlier that I wrote down is, the SEC and all that, they're always on the alert for if we are manipulating the stock price, but they seem to turn a blind eye to these sons of bitches.
We show them. If you just look at I'll put it up again. If you look at the bar chart, you can see it, exactly. You can see the daily chart. Anybody uses a free chart, whatever you want to do. If anybody can put it up and just show the candles of the cells, you can see it. It's so clear. I go to bar chart and I use the interactive chart and I hit the 1 day and you can actually see the attacks. The attack started, at $7, the straight lines down, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Just before 11 o'clock, I'll say, 10:30, I guess it started. You can see the attacks, lower. Then you see there was another attack at 11:45, another red bar straight down to get it down to 580. You can see the big red bars. But then all of a sudden it stops. They're just trying to change the levels. And you can see it. It's very easy to see. Just look at the red charts. Yeah, the red bars, you can see, this morning, 180,000, 180,000, 100. They sold 600,000 at the market to knock it down. That knocked it down to 605, and then there's another 200,000 to get it down to 580. So I just showed you, almost 1 million shares at the market. Lower.
This question is like a bad Rod Stewart song, the question that I always fear. What is a realistic target to the upside on Finger?
Again.
Don't shut down. Don't shut down.
You guys, listen, again, this is my opinion. You could take it with a grain of salt. I think this is a monster, life-changing situation. I'm not here reporting on this for a couple of years to help people out to understand this stuff, to make $1. It's already went to 9. I'm still here. It went to 10. It went to 9. It was on NASDAQ, back down to 60 cents, back up to 10, and back down here. I can trade any stock on the board and make myself 50 cents $1 almost every day and go around the board, and I don't ever have to be in the same spot again. This is something that is life-changing, and I understand it's not easy to sit here and suffer and watch these guys manipulate, but that's what we're doing. If you want to be here, you're here. If you don't want to be here, you move along, go wherever you want to go. I could care less. But I'm not letting them go. The people I know, we're following it. We all know the crime. I have hundreds of friends from 40 years, 30 years, 25 years experience, from Lehman Brothers. I even told you about our friend, the old timer at E.F. Hutton. Most people don't even know what E.F. Hutton is. And these are guys with years.
I always listen to your friend.
Right.
When he talks.
E.F. Hutton. When E.F. Hutton speaks, E.F. Hutton was in one of the great old firms,
Yes, it
Many
was.
people left, there's not many people left on the planet from E.F. That was before dirt, E.F. Hutton. All right, so again, these are opportunities. People understand it, and people understand it, People understand pullbacks. This is not a normal pullback. So for those who think it's a normal pullback or related to a chart pattern, you better stop drinking, because this was just a bear rage. This is a complete attack to try to get you to sell. A pullback is very different than a complete attack to sell. Very different. And you actually got to witness two of them on the same day. GTI had the same attack. It was 137. What does GTI and Finger have to do with each other? Zero. I thought maybe they both had the same letter in the alphabet in their names. I don't know what it is. It has nothing to do with each other. But they both got attacked at the same time. And what that tells me is that whoever's short needs to stock slower and have to attack. That's what they did. And if you look at it, they even sold off Wolf down from 355. Okay, they attacked that down. Okay, when stocks make moves, they have to hold it down because the shorts are in trouble.
Well,
all right.
What you said earlier is true. Nothing goes up straight like a rocket.
Right. We all want it to go like we all want to walk in and have HKD go from $7 to $2,500 in 3 hours, and everybody will meet at the bar and have a drink. We all want to do that. I got it. We all want that. Believe me. I hung out with the fastest crowd in the world. We want trades done in 3 minutes. Cash the tickets, and I'll see you later. It's not a horse race. It takes a little time to make a lot of money sometimes.
This gentleman asks, we keep hearing this every time the stock surges to 9 to 17. We keep hearing this same talk that it's going to squeeze, and then the stock goes down. Why is it different this time?
Why is it different this time? Because we already said it twice to you. But this is the third time. We're taking another chance. No. Listen, it's been building. If you can't see, as an investor, what's happened over the years, then you must exit and move along. GameStop, MMTLP, Savvy, the DOJ going after the short sellers, the political attacks in D.C. by all the shareholders. The game has changed. I've been doing this 23 years, and I'm not proud of it, but it's very different now than it was 23 years ago, or 15 years, or 10 years ago, or even 2 years ago. This is a very heated conversation everywhere. Everyone knows that this is completely fraudulent activity, and it has to stop. You can't keep having the water hit the sandcastle. Eventually it's going to collapse, right?
Exactly. It's like one of those bridges, I don't know, in Minnesota that everyone said would collapse. People kept driving over them, and eventually it collapsed. So you can't pick the exact time.
Right. So again, this is something that's been building. We know the criminals. In GTII, what's different? How does GTI even stay? They keep playing even when we get the proof from the depository trust. I don't know about you, but as long as if the depository trust said there is not a problem, let them put out a press release, and I'll go away with my tail between my legs. Right? They've never said boo. They told us there's a big concentrated short position. We found out that Alpine was Kramer's prime broker. The prime broker gets busted for having a concentrated short position in GTII. I didn't know prime brokers were naked shorting stocks.
Hey.
All right, so
it's a surefire way to make money. Let's all join in.
The prime broker is now shorting the stocks, not putting up any money, playing for free, not buying themselves in, letting unsettled trades pile up so that they can destroy public companies. That's a prime broker? Okay. So the game is, they've been exposed. The DTC exposed GTII. Finger motion is a completely different game. Lynn Partners had the toxic debenture, got paid off, and now they're fighting for their lives. And again, if the stock goes green today, heads are going to roll. You may get your event today if it goes green. They're trying everything to try to manipulate it, hold it down. You take an offer, someone else jumps in. There's always a seller. You take 500, there's someone else jumps in with 600. That's the short sellers. If you wanted to sell it, You think everyone's waiting? If you take the 520, what is it, 621 stock, there's 200 for sale. If you take it, someone else jumps in. There, there's 4,400 right behind. There's always a seller. That's the short trying to. It's what they try to do is try to put the bricks on the board to crush the witches back in the old New England days, right? They try to crush them. Keep selling counterfeit shares, counterfeit. The weight of a counterfeit will eventually collapse anything. That's why they arrest people selling fake $20 bills. The U.S. government wants to protect the currency. Look at Gucci or Louis Vuitton or Rolex. No one wants counterfeit auto parts. No one wants counterfeit plane parts. No one wants counterfeit money. No one wants counterfeit T-shirts. The U.S. equity markets let them sell counterfeit shares all day long. How is that even possible? How much longer do you think how much longer do you think this is going to be allowed to people to sell counterfeit equities? Everyone knows about it. Google the story. Everyone. Look at the apes. Look at AMC, GME. Look at the exposure they helped out. Look at MMTLP. These people are tearing down Washington. They caught FNGR, the SEC, everyone. You think this is going away? This fight is only getting stronger. Pick your poison, find your stock, whatever you need to do, because I think the opportunities and when the shorts get busted in all the names, whatever it is, I think your opportunity is understand it, and you got to make hay when the sun is shining, as they say, because the opportunity, the life-changing opportunity that you had in GameStop, which people didn't believe. Trust me, I pounded everybody. People didn't believe it. And there was a life-changing opportunity right in front of us based on data, not my guessing. It was based on proof that we had. We're not just throwing darts.
Can we trust Tom Ronk's numbers?
Tom Ronk is the #1 expert in the world on the financial data. Yes. Okay, so if Tom Ronk is 100% wrong, it's not 155. Make it 50 million. Pick a number. They haven't bought back anything. 50 million. There's 2 million shares today. If they bought every share today, they got 48 million to go. Right? Do the math. If they bought back 10 million, there's still 40 to go. If the 155 is right, now just look at it this way. If you were short 5, 10, 15 million shares, you start taking your loss and move to the sideline a little at a time. So you take the stock to 10. Big deal. You walk away, you take your lump. They're not doing it because they can't buy back all these shares. It's impossible. The only thing that's going to happen is a bloodbath.
One boo bird is saying counterfeit shares are here to stay. Nobody's ever going to do anything about it. They're not going to buy in. Well, my response is they'll buy in when they're losing money.
Tell me, go out there and listen. If you did it in finger motion at $1.50, you'd be homeless by now.
Right. Yeah.
So all it takes is one time. And you know how many people were sitting in GameStop saying, this piece of shit ain't going anywhere. Counterfeit shares are here to stay. I'm here. Counterfeit shares are here to stay. The stock went to $550. Huh. How do you think all those people feel? Their life's a room. They lost every asset they had and got blown out. You play with fire, you get burnt. Counterfeit shares are here to stay. AMC, $2 to 77. How do you think those people, how much money was lost there? How many small players, like the gentleman he just said on the phone, oh, it's here to stay, I'm going to go sell 5,000 shares. They're homeless. You lose everything.
Yeah, it's allowed until it isn't, and it'll change.
That's exactly right.
Why is GTII taking so long, especially when we have proof?
Again, Wes Christian is the lawyer fighting it in the courts. The system is completely fraudulent. We're trying to change the whole system. I called this the Battle of Gettysburg for a reason. I said it was a war. I've been saying it for years. You're trying to change the system. If you do not fight back, I don't give a shit if you buy the stock or not. If you do not fight back and do not educate yourself, you will be robbed. Your kids will be robbed. Your grandkids will be robbed. When you get cancer, God forbid anybody gets sick, there's going to be no treatments because all the cancer companies are being destroyed. CELU took a note. Look at the stock. It's 52 cents. I went to the guy's office. World-class operation. World-class people. Former, neurosurgeon in a trauma center. Stock is 50 cents. It's worthless. Why? Because the shorts are shitting on it. And I think Yorkville is the one that gave them the loan. They got 20 million shares to sell at 75 cents. I went and touched this stock. I don't care if the guy comes up with the cure for cancer. No one gives a shit because those guys are selling 20 in your face. And they're going to manipulate the stock. And they have.
This question I don't quite understand. How do all these companies be down billions like Finger, GTII, MMTLP and still survive? So I don't know if she's talking about the criminals or the companies themselves.
The criminals in MMTLP got protection from the government agencies as of right now, right? Obviously.
Right.
They sold it. It went up from $1, went to 12 or whatever it went to. They pushed it down to 3, trying to hide the mess. They shut it down, but now the government agencies are sitting here because they're being forced to expose exactly what we all know. How much longer? Listen, if I could, and there was a futures bet at the casinos, I would be betting tons of money that MMTLP is going to break the system. They're going to show it. They're going to have to come out with it. All right? There's no way to profit from it. So I have to find other opportunities like a finger motion or a GTI that has huge short positions to profit from. That's it. And I believe that all the shit that's going to happen in MMTLP is going to affect other stocks, whether it's a Peloton, whether it's a Beyond Meats, whether it's a TLRY, all these stocks with these big shorts, or a Kodak, or MULN. I don't know which ones are going to affect, so I can only follow a few. I can't
There's
follow
nothing on Wall Street, there's nothing as contagious as making money. As soon as they see there's money to be made in squeezing shorts, it'll happen across the street, in my opinion.
Once the fight, we're in the fight. Once the lobbyists in D.C. tell the lawyers for the hedge funds, like Gibson Dunn, they're all over D.C. tapping their friends at the SEC. Hey, what's going on with naked short selling? Are you after my clients? What's going on? They say, oh, not yet, but you know what? The DOJ is. And that once that gets to them, you told me the guy Pete from Philly said that they sell without fear.
Pedro
from Philly. They sell without fear, right? Once it gets passed down that the SEC and the DOJ is coming, I think the first shot was fired already. Savvy, busted, okay? I think that's the first volley in this game. And I think once the DOJ puts the handcuffs on Savvy or wherever these guys are, whether it's the Kramers or Lind, whoever it may be, once one of them gets arrested, the game is over. These guys will be running because now they know that stealing $100 million, $200 million is now going to put them in jail for 10 years. And if you're 55 years old, whoever Jeff Easton is, 10 years in jail is not going to be fun. And these guys are going to move to the sideline as fast as they can. That's what's going to happen. That's what I see going on.
Well, I'm watching the volume right now. Very little volume since the attack. So it'll turn by the end of the day, in my opinion.
I agree.
Do market makers have to put up money, dollars, in order to be able to short?
Yeah, they have. I'm sure they have margin requirements, but they cover. They listen. The market makers that are attacking our stocks are just day trading assassins. The only person that's short finger is Lynn Partners. There's people shorting it for the day trade, trying to make some money on the short side. There was a guy who posted on Twitter, finger motion is a pump and dump. Those are the type of guys. He short 3,000 shares. He was sucking wind. and him and his friends want to get it down. That's what that is. All right.
Well,
So it means saying, so there's always people like that, but those people come and they go quickly. There's no there is no market makers anymore. They're all gone.
they're all gone. And I think even there's not as much compliance oversight. So the risk of these trades has kind of gone under the radar for a while. But
the
as
risk of these trades, the risk to the firms and to the system has gone up 1,000%. No one's looking into it. They're letting these things grow, and we all figured it out. So that's why there's a life-changing event in whatever name you're picking, okay? Understand it, because it is a life-changing event. You can buy 10,000 shares of a stock and sell it of $300 in a blur, and you make yourself a fortune, and it pays off your house, your credit cards, put your kids through college, whatever it may be. It can happen in this, like this. That's how fast it can happen.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is, I think, a repeat question, but this gentleman thought the algos would change from selling to buying at 527.
The stock
Did
has
it
gone
happen?
up.
Did it happen?
The stock has gone up from 527 to break out. It went to 715. There's definitely a change. What you saw today is that the shorts came in and bashing it down with a bear ring. Could the algorithm be sitting here scooping it up? Yep. I can't tell you that, but the stock is higher than when we told you at 527, correct?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone's scooping, but anyway.
Well, listen, the stock at 527 went to $7. It wasn't me buying it. I can tell you that.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. Could be the shorts buying it intraday, just making a trade. Could
Again,
be.
what you saw today, if it didn't happen, if they didn't knock it down, they would get into stretcher to carry these guys out. So again, they hired some assassins, they went out there and they attack it. That's what you're saying.
I mean, my opinion doesn't really matter, but I think these kind of pullbacks set up bigger moves to the upside later. I mean, you can't go straight up. It's like building a building on one pillar.
No, they do go straight up, and we all wish we had them. I'm the first guy in line with you. Hey, can this happen tomorrow so I can go out and play pickleball and never look at this again? I'll be the first guy to say yes. I hope it happens. All right, but I live in the real world, and I know the criminals, how they operate, and I've always said we never know when they're going to attack. Right? It's like Vietnam. We're walking through I said it on the conference calls. It's like Vietnam. We're walking through the jungle. We're looking for the opponent. Right? We're out there looking for them. We don't know when they're going to jump out the ambush. Congratulations, we saw the ambush today.
You have more little old ladies to knock over in pickleball.
Yes, there's plenty of them. I saw this ship of them just got out there today. I'm going to get them.
Someone's asking, do you think GME can still squeeze?
Yes, I think that because of, what's his name? Ryan Cohen came on board. Ryan Cohen is, he's here for only one reason. He's not here to run a video game store, whatever the hell they do, a gaming store. He's here to squeeze it. So he's going to do something. And I said that the day they hired him. It was going down to $20. It was down 4 points. I said to buy it. The stock went back up to 29. So he's here for a reason. And he's notorious about trying to squeeze them.
Who makes the margin call and enforces it on a market maker? It seems they're running their own money.
The market makers are not carrying these positions. There's nobody here. There's no one doing that.
Yeah.
There are no market makers. They don't have it. It's these LLCs that are behind the market makers. That's who's doing it.
Do you recommend a options trading course?
Listen, the best way to do it is listen, watch, and understand. The option trading course, they give you so much technical stuff, you'll pull your hair out. Right. I'm not a put player. I would, for example, let me just give an example. On Jeffries, it keeps moving up. It's up $1.95, right? Today, I said if finger motion starts breaking through 15 to going towards $30, I would look at Jeffries for a Credit Suisse moment, okay? So I would look at it, and since Credit Suisse took a little time to go to zero, I would say, okay, this is what you would look at an option course and say, all right, this is something that I know we don't know the exact timing on it, so let's move out and buy September calls or maybe November, puts. So I would look out 4 months in advance. That's something that you have to have a gut feeling about. Based on options is based on timing. That's all it's about. What's the time of the event? That's how you have to look at it. So there's no option course that's going to teach you that. That comes from in your head. You have to make a decision. Some people always buy time. I don't like to buy time. I like to buy the front month because if I believe in something, I believe it's happening sooner than later. I believe finger motion is happening sooner than later. I believe Jeffries is going to happen later than sooner. It's the opposite. So that's the number one thing in options is trying to figure out whatever stock you're in, what is the event that you're looking for, whether it's earnings, takeover rumors, whatever it may be. You have to figure out, and that's what options are about. The SEC always looks at the option players for this scoop because they believe option people have a feel of the timing and have inside information. So that's why options are always viewed as a source of fast money because they look at it that way. That's what the SEC looks at. So if you ever have inside information on a stock, all right, not that this is my opinion, I'm just going to give you what I heard on Wall Street. If you ever get the rumor that, like, for example, IBM's buying XYZ, I was always told, hey, I get someone to post it up there. Once the story's out there, then you can step in and buy it to protect yourself. Hey, I bought it because of that. I heard it there. That's because options, they always watch and monitor the options. Options is the fast money way.
Without risking as much. Daphne says she'll meet you on court anytime, pickleball.
She better be ready. I'm gunning for her. And a slice of pizza. We have to always, I'm Italian, we always have to finish with a slice and a Coke.
Do the shorts in this bear raid, could it go on more than just today?
Yes. No, the shorts, listen, these guys are running, they're on fumes. Where are they going?
Are Alpine and or Lind market makers?
No. We just to go back in time, at GTII, the naked shorts, Kramers, were using VERT, Vertical Group, and their head trader is Fancy Pants, Rob Schaefer. We put up his picture many days. He sold 30 to 40 million shares of GTI he sold it from 50 cents up to 450 and 450 back down. Ruthless. Every day he was a low offer. Very different. We could spot him. We could all see it. He was getting the order flow from the Kramers. So Kramers were giving him the order flow. He was the market maker executing it. Now that people are getting sued in GTII, the market makers like Vertical Group move away because they physically get subpoenaed. They have to give up their clients. Who are you getting the orders from, right? And if you lie, you go to jail. So they backed away from getting the orders in GTII. GTI now is controlled by OTCN, which is just a black box trading platform. Somebody with an LLC who has access to that platform is giving the orders to OTCN because that's just a computer-generated platform. It's like your E-Trade platform. No one knows who it is, and if someone subpoenas it, the computer's not going to say who are they getting it from, right? The computer's not going to get in trouble. The market makers like Fancy Pants Rob, he doesn't want to get it because if he's taking the orders directly, he knows he's committing the crime. The computer doesn't know it's committing a crime. It's very different.
Medvedev just beat Eubanks in 5 sets. And KYP says she's going to kick your butt.
I can't wait. I'm like dying to tear her up over there. Wherever we're going to go, I'm ready to go.
And I think the serious questions, if there were any, have sort of slowed down. So maybe you can hazard a guess on the trading for the rest of the day, up or
The
down.
trading right now is it's 1:30. They're sound asleep. They did their attacks. What's their next move? It's we're playing chess. If they're going to continue to selling it lower, people, some people will sell. That's part of the game. You get panicked out. I can't stop that. But other people, the whales that we talk about that are around, they get cheaper stock. What do they care? Instead of spending $6.50, they're paying $5.50 and save $1. If you're buying 10 million shares, you know what? You save $10 million. If Lynn Partners and friends want to sell it lower, that's the way it goes. They were selling it lower 3 weeks ago, down to $1.30. How'd that work out?
I don't know if this is a stock or a market maker. NSDQ, the market maker, or it is a market maker, seems to be the most active at the lowest ask. Today they have multiple times been selling one share way below the ask. Thoughts? I don't know if this is about finger.
Motion? Finger? I don't know.
I guess. I guess.
These are not market. They're computers. People are putting orders into those systems.
Michael Granite says, I'm totally baffled. It's like they're trying to bail out a sinking boat with a teaspoon. What is their
There you
end
go.
game, even if they get it
That's
down
it.
a little? What's their end
That's
game?
exactly what they're doing. And, just think about it. You're on the boat. What would you be trying to do if you're on that boat sinking, right? If you're on the Titanic, what are you doing? You're trying to get on that lifeboat, figure a way to save your ass. That's what these guys are trying to do. It's the same thing. They're trying to figure a way to save their ass from going broke and potentially get dragged into court by the DOJ for fraud. That's what happens.
They call me Deacon Blues, is asking, could we send the truck to Scottsdale or Arizona? He'll drive it around Scottsdale Securities and the Hurd houses. Is it Hurd?
I think those. I thank you, but I think that I think those people have massive problems. I wouldn't. I'm not concerned about them.
Would you sell in the money calls to buy more cheaper ones?
I've said that 1,000 times. When it runs, you sell the in the money calls. Take off your 2, 3. Listen, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, and the 6s were all in the money. The 6 is worth over $1 this morning. When they're running, you can sell those, and then you buy some 10s, 11s, and you don't have to worry about it. If you're up 10,000, you could put 6 in your pocket. You could buy 100 calls of the 11s for 40 cents. Is 4,000. You have 100 calls. Close your eyes. If it works and goes to 100, you're a winner. If it does nothing, you still made $6,000, and you're still in the game, and you got money to play with. That's the way. Yeah.
Sorry, if you put GTC orders in, does it prevent your broker from lending out your shares?
Yes. They can't lend out a share that's out for sale.
And I don't know if you have any final thoughts. You've been doing a good job for over an hour.
Well, it's either me talking to you or me talking to myself. So I'm sitting here. So instead of me trying to type on Twitter at 200 miles an hour, all the stuff, every trade that they're doing that I'm watching, I'm glad that you got an opportunity to understand it. But they were nice enough to stop doing whatever they're doing now, right? And you just see the 200 shares going back and forth, just trying to manipulate the markets. If I was long 200 shares and I wanted to sell it, there's no way I'm going to offer my 200 shares at 620. I'm just going to sell it at 619 and go to hell wherever I'm going to go. All right.
Hey,
So
200 shares times a penny, that's a lot of money to save.
They're sitting here trying to close the spreads and then hope somebody hits a bid. That's all they try to do. It's the same pattern. It's the same thing. When no one's bidding, they try to, when buyers show up, all these sellers disappear. Remember, people don't have orders in every second. So when there's an air pocket, they try to mark it down. That's what they do. Remember, remember, they mark it down. Mr. Brazil, the option markets go down too. So they're basically manipulating the option market on top of the equity market. Remember that, lawyers.
This is the heart of the whole issue. This gentleman, is there any way to tell if my shares at Fidelity are real?
No. So this is what happens. You ready? I'll give you. I'll post it again for everybody. Give me 1 second. Let me just post it. Give me a second.
Time's up.
1 second. I can't do it that fast. I'm going to put a chart up of something that I conjured up a while ago. And if anybody wants to look at it, it's there, and I'll walk you through it. It's a chart of the DTC. It's my little diagram. For example, I'll use it in the face of a dividend. When a company gives out a dividend, all the brokerage firms will have to check internally. For example, Goldman Sachs is going to hit a button and say, we own 10 million shares of GTII, for example. Then they call the depository trust and say, hey, DTC, how many physical shares do you have for me at the DTC? The DTC is going to say, Goldman, we only have 1 million share. Goldman Sachs is going to say, holy shit, we're long 10. The DTC has 1. That means we have 9 million naked short stock, naked shorts in our portfolio. It means that they haven't gotten delivery on 9 million shares. And that's the key. The DTC has the physical shares. We don't know what the brokerage firms own. So your question is Fidelity. Fidelity may have investors that own 50 million shares, and at the DTC have 1 million shares. That means they have 49 million counterfeits. You can pull them up and say, hey, my name is Joe Blow, and I'd like to know if I have my shares. And they'll say to you, oh, sure, we have 1 million shares at the DTC. You're a part of that. But if everyone were to call at the same time, it would be a run on the banks, correct?
Right.
And how are they going to produce if Fidelity owns 50 million and there's only 1? That is what the DTC, FINRA, the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, that's the biggest fear in the world, is because if there's a run on the bank and everyone needs their shares, like a run on the bank and everybody wants their money, there is no money, right? It's the same theory. It's the same thing. So the whole system is based on, if anyone ever forces settlement, okay, you expose the whole system. And just to recap for people that are still paying attention, you can just Google Dole Foods, D-O-L-E, Dog, Oscar, Larry, Eddie, the pineapple company, Dole Foods.
Yeah. Are you there? Ham? While he's out of contact, your question about how can you correct if your broker doesn't allow you to put in GTC orders that are high, try doing a day order, day limit. You'll have to re-enter them every day, but I think that might work. We've lost Ham. I think maybe his battery ran out. The one thing I was going to ask him to finish up with is Tom Ronk told him, and Tom Ronk works with all these brokerage firms, that the buy-in FNGR has started. It'll take 3 weeks. So I wouldn't be shaken out here. I mean, obviously you got to trade and take some money off the table and do those kind of things. But I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't be out of the trade altogether. If Tom Ronk is correct, and I have no reason to doubt him, his contacts are everywhere on the street. the buy-in has begun. And he felt that way from lower prices. So what these guys are trying to do right now, there goes my dog. Can you hear him barking? In his sleep. Aw. He's aw. He's chasing rabbits. Ham says he'll be back. I'll be back. Question, if brokers only allow... Hang on. All right, I'm going to merge you.
All right.
All right, you're on.
I don't know why I got booted off. I guess the shorts are coming after me. But again, talking about Dole Foods. Dole Foods did a dividend. The company went private. There was 36 million shares when the company went private by the CEO taking the company. The CEO made a bid for the company to take it private. When the company went private, the shareholders sued the company because the price was too low. All right? So the company lost the lawsuit and had to pay $2.75 to each shareholder. If they produced their statement on the last day, you would get the $2.75 as a special dividend. Well, they gave out the dividend, and there was 36 million shares in the company. 49 million showed up. There were 13 million counterfeit shares in the system. And Matt Levine, that moron from, I forget where he is. He's at Forbes, wherever he is, Bloomberg. He wrote the story, and I pounded him for years to get more information about who was the hedge fund that sold the 13 million shares. And his story, he said, most likely the hedge fund that sold the 13 million counterfeit shares is out of business, meaning they walked away 13 million shares at $10, $130 million. No one even knows who the hell did it. That is what we are here to expose, that type of stuff. And that's what's happening. They know the system screwed up. And the Dole Foods story, you can read it yourself. It's right there. Any more questions, Bill?
Well, I while you were gone, I emphasized, but maybe you can emphasize that the buy-in, according to Tom Ronk, has started. So this doesn't change anything. The buy-in is happening, if he's correct.
Well, you got to look at it this way. Hold on a second. I put up the Dole Foods story if anybody wanted to see it. Listen, the buy-ins, how do you buy your stock back without making the price crazy, right? So the shorts are trying to save their ass, so they, again, try to attack it, knock it down. But eventually, they have to deliver all these shares, and it's just going to melt up. What day that happens, I don't know. But whatever's happening, they're trying to take the momentum out of the stock. The momentum was ripping yesterday. Everybody could see it. Again, so that's what they try to do, to take all they're trying to do is stop the upside momentum. That's it.
One guy notices the irony that they can sell shares illegally, but then they have to follow the rules to buy in. I would suggest the buy-in just comes in because no one wants to lose money. The prime broker,
Listen, no one's going to take the hit for these guys.
Yeah.
Credit Suisse was hiding fraud, and everyone at that firm was vaporized and lost everything.
Yeah.
So again, the game has changed. All right, these positions are real. These numbers are real. These guys are going to get exposed, and no one wants to take the hits for somebody else.
It's going to be like that scene from Wall Street where they come in and take Bud Black out, and everyone suddenly isn't their friend, his friend.
One arrest, and I personally think that Savvy is going to be the first one arrested. I think the SEC is going to recommend to the DOJ in their file against that Savvy management. They said he created a naked short selling scheme, he was scheming. He was defrauding. I mean, that is just not a fine. The SEC can't lock you up, but they can recommend criminal charges, and I think they will. I think that's the type of guy that's going to go down.
Who was the loser journalist that wrote for Forbes? I mean, he just has to read that Sabi complaint. It lays it all out.
That's what Matt Levine, he said naked short selling was make believe. The next day, Sabi got busted, and the people from MMTLP destroyed him over it.
Where would you start, sort of laddering out of Finger?
It hasn't even started yet. It's tough for me to tell you where to ladder out when it doesn't start yet.
Yeah. And do you think it could close above $7 today?
I think that if it goes green, I think it can close north to 10.
Yeah. I think on that last short number you gave, 154,460,000 or something like that, if they just tried to cover 400,000, it could be over 10.
And the only sellers, I put up the new number today. I think, I forgot where I put it. I can't remember. But I put it up this morning. It was 155. I got the new sheet, and it was 155. I wrote it down somewhere. I'll give you the exact number. Just stay with me 1 second.
Do we have a choice?
No. If you can tell me the number better up, I think it was 155 something. Yeah, 155 plus million, I think I wrote down. There it is. You got to remember, Tom gets it from all the dark pools. He has it from all the exchanges. He gets the data. All the stuff is information that has to be released. All right, these guys they're doing everything they can to stop it, Someone posted that the float is 29 million shares in Finger. I'm not sure the exact number, but again, if they short 155 million, the insiders hold this whole company. I told you, to me, the ownership reminds me of Volkswagen. That's what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like.
Well, and that goes with one guy's question. Once it kind of gets into blue skies, why wouldn't it just keep going? And I think that's what happened to Volkswagen.
But once they fold, that's when you get up 3, up 5, up 10, up 20, like HKD. But boom, 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 boom. If you watched it, it just kept going, jump up to 100 points.
How important in this dynamic is the earnings call? My opinion, it just further buttresses that Finger is a real company with massive fundamentals. But how important?
That's how I look at it. I look at it, I leave in the middle of the day and I go play pickleball, and you know what? I as far as owning the stock has got a value in my head, and I'm looking at it saying, I don't care what they do, up, down, the company's not raising money, do whatever you want, every stupid game you want to play. At the end of the day, in my eyes, I'm fine with the stock. That's how I feel. No matter what price it is, whether it's 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, doesn't make a difference. I mean, I feel comfortable with it. Again, the manipulation, which you're seeing, is they need to stop that momentum. The momentum by the world, by the Prel commercial, was telling you that this was starting to get that GameStop, people are starting to foam at the mouth. Okay? And you can see they just keep trying to, I just looked at it now, the 500 shares, there's always 200 shares, 100 shares for sale. That is the market makers trying to manipulate it. And then the next thing they do is they sell 200 at 616 and say, oh my God, it's selling off again. It's the same thing. And you watched it yesterday when they sold it off and it would go down 30 cents. All of a sudden someone come back and bid higher. That was driving them nuts. That's them trying to cover yesterday. They had to buy some back in. So here it is. It goes 217, 220. So we've been on the phone. It's the only things that are trading are these idiots going back and forth with each other.
That's right.
Trying to somehow get you to sell your stock. That's all they're trying to do.
So it always comes up, DBMM at 0.0065. Get out, buy more, could it squeeze? I personally think it's seller boxed, but who knows? You got to be careful, in my judgment. But if Alpine goes down, there's a huge short position there.
I'm looking at the options, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but it looks to me like someone did 1,000 of the $5 puts at 40 cents, and 1,000 of the August puts at $1.10.
So they would cover that now.
Well, they're trying to do. I have to figure out what the options. I got to see what they did against call. I have to try. I'm not following it, so I can't. It's hard to tell you what the hell they're doing.
Maybe they sold calls, bought puts, and
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but they're trying something. So, but anyway, listen, they can play all the games they want. At the end of the day, the people that are short here are not long term. Everyone on this phone, let's say we all sold 1,000 shares apiece. You know, there's 800 of us here, 900 of us. We all sold 1,000 shares apiece. At the end of the day, once someone starts to panic, one leads to two, two leads to three, we all start to panic because you know what? What am I here for? The most I can make if the stock goes to zero is $6,000. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to make my 500 for the day. I made 50 cents. And they all start to panic. You know, it sets off like it's like setting off a mat of firecrackers. Once they start popping, you know, just look what they're doing to GTI today. 1 million shares. Sell it lower. Hurry up. Sell it lower. Get people to come out. That's all they're trying. They want to sell it lower. Okay. We know people buying it. Let them keep
they're
it.
they're selling it lower with hot shares, and they got to cover it by the end of the day.
Again, that you as long as you can see the criminal games, you have to understand it. It's tough to sit through it. I got it. We all understand it. You know, that's why we have the calls. Listen, I don't want to see anybody who bought 500 shares panic and lose money or whatever it may be. Okay, people trade, they flip it, they go back and forth. So hey, you know what? You're doing that. Good luck. I'm not here to help you with that. But the stock goes up and it's down 15% today. GTII over what? It's just it's the same nonsense. They're trying to stop the upward momentum. Obviously, as the stock was moving to $1.40 in GTII, someone's getting stung over there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't want it to go up. We want to sell it lower. I don't want to sell it at $1.40. You know, sell it lower.
Maybe
obviously they get stung.
Maybe you can riff like you do on why Finger is similar to Volkswagen, considering the closely insider holdings in Finger.
That's exactly, you know, the insiders, the ownership of this small float is all taken up by insiders, the people in Asia. And it's, to me, that's exactly what happened in Volkswagen. The insiders tied it up with Porsche, and the shorts were sitting there saying, there's no shares here. That's exactly what's going on. Yeah, hey, listen, Wall Street's funny. You got to look at everything relates to each other, and it's happened before. So Volkswagen and Porsche took a big stake in the company. The shorts didn't think it was that big. All of a sudden, the Volkswagen wasn't even selling one car. The whole auto industry was collapsing in 2008. The whole thing was collapsing. Porsche took a big stake in it. There was no shares, and it set off a rocket. If Porsche didn't release some of the shares, the stock would still be going higher. They needed them to help save the shorts. That's how bad it was. And how do I remember it happening? So we've seen it happen. So when Finger Motion, when Ling Li, or whatever her name is.
Li, I think. Li,
whatever. She increased her stake. The whole company is owned by the people on the inside. They know what's going on. Insiders, for everyone who doesn't know, have inside information. So if the insiders are getting long more, that's the place to be.
Why do GTII and Finger run together?
Because I have no idea why that happened. That was caught me off guard. So I don't understand why they're tied together. I have no idea.
While we've been talking for an hour and a half, I'd say less than 150,000 shares have traded. I could be wrong, but it's not very much.
Most of it has been the same stock going back and forth. Again, all these tricks are here. All these tricks are here to get you to panic to sell. These are magic tricks.
This guy
And
ex Matador says if Finger goes to 3 digits, he'll help pay the medical costs for the woman who you hit with your pickleball.
I have to tone it down. I apologize. Everyone yells at me, and it's a reflex. If you ever played a racket sport, you know, there's no mercy. You have to. If you look at the tennis players, when they play a young up-and-coming star, the older players, if they let up for a second, even if it's an 18-year-old or 17-year-old kid, if you let up for a second, you lose. They just get the momentum and you lose. So that's the mentality when you play a sport and you play for money. And I played for money. And if you're not, a cannibal out there, you have to fight for every point until the opponent is dead, and then you get off the court and you got your victory.
Were you ever in a trading room when a trader blew up?
Yep. I must have taken him out in handcuffs. He blew up the firm for $400 million.
Oof.
He was in a trade. He hid the trade from everybody. The trade got worse. By the fourth day, it turned into a $400 million loss. And because he didn't admit to anyone that he had this trade and was hiding it, no one knew the position. And it was a $400 million loss for the firm. The police came in, the 2 detectives, I still remember, put the cuffs on him and walked him out.
Ooh. That's a lot of quid.
$400 million. Out the door he went. I also watched a broker at the firm I was at who gave me an order to buy 600,000 digital equipment. For those who don't know, digital equipment was one of the original high-flyer stocks.
DEC.
Yeah, Zach, we used to call it. And it was one of the original high-flying stocks. I bought 600,000 shares at the market. I took the stock up $12 or $10, something like that. It was $180 $180. The next day, the broker came in and says, I told you to sell it. And we looked around saying, okay. It turns out the hedge fund that was giving him the orders was shorting into it while we were buying it. Okay? Buying it, he probably bought it before, ran it up, then he was shorting it because he knew we had to turn around. I had to sell it. I took the stock down $12. So the firm took a beating on that. And I remember his name was Barry. I can't remember his last name. They took him out and caught the hedge fund. Both of them were arrested.
They were in cahoots.
Cahoots. They were on, the broker was saying on our side, saying, oh, I didn't know, he didn't know. But, obviously they worked together. And they both got caught and arrested. So I seen it happen. It happens all the time. We don't see it because there's so many people. I told you the broker that shorted Finger Motion is going to get caught at that brokerage, GTII, in San Diego. Forgot the name of the firm. But, I was told that a criminal charge is coming to that one also. So, they come. It just takes time. I told you, I met with the FBI, and they say that, we're not here to levy fines. We're here to lock up not one person. We want to get the whole organization. So whether they're investigating the Kramers, their lawyers, Nadich is his name, and all the brokers that surround them, you know what? We'll see in time. It comes out, right?
Yep, in time.
I can't stop the manipulation, again, the jerking back and forth. But the rush and the panic sell and Finger Motion has come to a grinding halt. So if that was a long who wanted to sell his million shares and lose 600, 700,000 in value, a long can only sell one time and he's done, correct?
Yeah.
When you sell your stock, you are done, you move along, and you're finished.
Yep.
So the selling is stopped. Is it a long or was it a naked short? Well, so a long, if it is, he's gone, and there'll be no more selling. If there's still manipulation, then it's a naked short. That's all you need to know.
And they've probably reached their risk talent maximum to sell fake shares today. I don't know if you're in front of your computer. Somebody's asking what a Kodak. I don't know what you're.
Yes. No. Listen. I've been hounding Kodak for a long time. It's acting great. I actually have the data on Kodak, but I'm not allowed to release it, and I can tell you it's a monster. Even if you cut it in half, your hair will stand up like Don King. I mean, that's how big it is.
Wow. That's a look. Don King is a look.
Yeah, your hair will stand up like a sore ghost. So again, I promised that I wouldn't give that out because it's a very expensive report. But again, that's something that I want to get to the politicians and show them. And listen, if they save the city of Rochester, they're going to save everybody here, right? So instead of us going to them and saying, "Hey, GTII and Single Motion," they go, "Oh, who the hell gives a shit about these two stocks?" Well, how about Kodak? Let's start there. So we change it. We educate them about Kodak, and if they break them in Kodak, guess who comes next? GTI and Finger Motion, right? So these are things that we try to plan ahead, okay, and show the regulators and show the politicians, hey, save the city of Rochester, save this company Kodak, a former Dow component, turn the city around, create jobs, stop the crime, get open businesses, and turn the city into a plus versus a negative. Once that happens, GTI and Finger Motion are next in the chamber. So that's the way you do it.
Plus, if there's success, one congressman, woman in her case, person, will have success helping Rochester. Every city will start looking at their main companies that have been destroyed.
That's exactly right. So people think that you go down there and you're telling them about your stock. I don't know Kodak, but I'm here to help save the city of Kodak. And if that works, guess what's going to happen? They're going to save everything that we're following. Because when they say to me, "What else do you have?" guess what we're going to show them? Then we show them ours. But if you don't fight that battle the way that entices them to step up, like if you can't save the city of Rochester, New York, a city, if they can't save that, then what kind of politician are you from New York, right? So we lay it out for them that way.
The seeds made it through. It's Alcaraz versus Medvedev and Sinner versus Djokovic in the semifinals. Not that anyone cares other than me, but
yes, it's good.
I did give up watching Wimbledon for this call, and I do it gladly. But
well, again, I was just trying to get people to understand the attack, because between here and $1.35, you haven't witnessed the attack. We've been waiting for the attack, and when I saw the attack, I says, okay, we need to educate everybody about the tailwind or the storm we're running into here, and this is how it works. There's not much more you can say.
I think yesterday the stock was up $1.18 or something like that. I can't remember, but it's down 52 cents today. In context, it's not that unusual.
No, listen, again, this is what they try to do. They try to get you comfortable with these attacks. It's just a pullback. This wasn't a pullback. This was a blatant attack to stop the margin calls that come, is it the 2 o'clock margin call comes, 3 o'clock margin calls? They needed it to get it down quickly. Now, does this 50 cents on 150 million shares put a dent in anything? I doubt it.
And it doesn't stop the margin call. It just might have reduced it or given a day or something.
Right. They get some sort of, listen, they got the rope around their neck and they're standing on a chair. Someone kicks it out, it's all over. Whether it's the government, the prime broker, or so, people, your own brokerage firms help keep this alive by not asking for delivery and letting a fail to deliver exist. Okay? But again, they keep it alive. So we're fighting the brokers, your own broker, we're fighting the regulators, and we're fighting the crooks. And we got them. Think about that. MMTLP is fighting everybody, and they got them dead. And I really believe when that comes out, and it can come out at any time, we're in for 220 days already, That's got to come to an end. And when that comes to an end, we all get to see what's behind the curtain.
That's right.
And I think that it's going to be super ugly for Wall Street and the short sellers when that comes out.
So in Finger, if Lind is trying to organize a rescue, you've got the stock at $6 on 150 million shares. Someone that comes in and rescues is going to want to do have more, but that's $900 million right there. There's nothing here to help with. There's no, for a new person to play, there's no profit to be made.
There's no one in creation that will fund and lend money to these guys. If the stock goes up 50 cents and you lend them 75 million, it's gone.
Yep.
50 cents. Each penny is what? I think we said $1.5 million.
You said that, yeah, and that's correct. 10 cents is 15 million.
Right. So that's how much money each penny means to these people. Each penny. So that's why you see this manipulation back and forth for pennies and whatever it is, nickels, dimes, whatever they can get. That's what you're saying. And, again, I'm just trying to, you got to look at every angle of this crime. Right? It's more than just, again, like I said, the manipulation, you have to withstand the attacks. You have to feel comfortable about the attacks. Watch the videos on the CEO of Finger Motion. And you can see every time a bid comes up, it was 620. The bid disappears and they print it at 618. I mean, these guys, it's just every bid that pops up, they hit it. And the reason they do that, because they want you to see, oh, there's a seller lurking in the bushes every time. He wants to hide his offer, and he wants you to bid for it. If you bid for it, you're going to get hit. Well, I look at it the other way, saying, okay, I'm looking to buy the stock. So the only way I could buy it is actually put a bid in there, right? That's how I look at it.
You can watch the videos on Finger CEO on YouTube, or you can go to Finger Motion's website, and they're there under investor relations. People are asking about the earning. The thing about earnings, I expect revenue to be great. Just if you followed the last announcement, they have enough cash just to grow their revenues in the SMS business. But my opinion is it has nothing to do with the squeeze that's in motion, so to speak.
Well, listen, people always yell at me, oh, you need fundamentals. Well, I found a company I believe has tremendous fundamentals. So here it is. I'm involved in a company that has tremendous fundamentals. So all the people that say you need fundamentals, well, we found one fundamentals. What else did we find? We found a toxic lender. We found a toxic lender that was paid off and that is now short. So we got fundamentals and we got the toxic lender. What else can you say?
One of the best investors on these calls, Skinny Whale, bought 1,000 Finger under $6, and she's going to buy more. She also says that Marco Island or Fisher Island is a joke. I forget which island that guy bought his 10 million.
Fisher Island in Miami, it's super expensive. It's at the tip of Miami. All the, they live there, they're wealthy, or they live on Star Island is the other one. They have all these little enclaves where all the big money is hiding out, But again, Fisher Island, you got to take a ferry boat over. It's very expensive. Again, if I stole $20 or $30 million, there's no way I would do a story and put it out that Savvy Management buys a $10 million condo. And look how beautiful it is.
Well, when you're using leverage and you add fraud to it, you're making money because it's going your way. When it goes against you, you can lose billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in a heartbeat.
Listen, does everybody know this story about Merlin Capital?
Go ahead with it.
Merlin Capital is the guy that was short GameStop. I didn't know the guy. He supposed he worked with Stevie Cohen, a wonder trader. He lost $9 billion in the short squeeze.
Billion with a B.
9. Michael Jordan lost $5 $500 million in those short squeezes because he invested in Merlin Capital. Michael Jordan lost his basketball team to the guy from Merlin Capital.
Wow.
So Michael Jordan lost his basketball investment to that guy. Merlin Capital owns the basketball team now, and he lost $9 billion.
They're saying
Michael
Melvin.
Jordan,
I think it's Melvin.
Melvin, right? He basically he owns a basketball team. Michael Jordan was an investor in Melvin, whatever it is, and he took a bet from it. His loss of it was $500 million. So he had to pony up $500 million. It was on Twitter. I read it. I couldn't believe it. But that's just shows you. Here's a billionaire. He lost his basketball investment. The whole thing.
So are you saying these guys on Wall Street don't really know what they're doing?
Absolutely not. They're just rolling the dice with billions of dollars, closing their eyes, and hoping they work.
And with billions, any good movement makes you rich. But if it goes against you, the firm is too big to fail.
This is how devastating it is when you get caught in it. Right. Now, Michael Jordan, I'm sure, is a billionaire, but he lost his investment in that. So he had to pay off his debt, and I couldn't believe it when I read it.
Unbelievable.
I mean, so this is why the leverage, like you said, when it's with you, when when everything's going great, you're all smiles because you can make tenfold the money, right?
Or more. Yeah.
Once it goes against you, you lose that amount. So Lynn Partners is looking at being kicked off the planet. That's how close they are. And the same thing with GTII and with Alpine and with the Kramers is that they're both looking at extinction. I believe that once these things do explode and get blown up, that they will be going to jail. Because
we're going to miss them. They've added so much to the benefit of the United States.
They've added so much to society.
Yeah.
They eat at a steakhouse and buy drinks and tell everybody don't fuck with us and put pictures up of their family.
Yeah.
That's what they've delivered to society.
You can't buy class like that.
Right, so that's what this is about. And any other questions? If
not really. No, there's nothing more.
I'm going to go out and beat some old ladies into the turf.
All right. Well, everyone appreciates.
Don't take it easy on me. I'm going easy on them. I'll just tap it. But you can see, I just get ready to hang up and they're doing the old 100-share thing again. I mean, it's just, all it is they're trying to annoy you and get you upset. It's just, again, I can't stop this. We can't.
They have to, the opportunistic shorts have to cover by the end of the day or certainly by the weekend,
Hey,
I
they
think.
want to press their bet. Welcome to the crowd, at any given time. Again, I've had people call the SEC today, register complaints. My friends do it every day. I got a good crowd of between 10 and 25 people that make the call. So if 10 do it a day, they call the SEC, they call the hotline up, they're giving up Lynn Partners, they're giving up the Kramers and GTII. Again, we never let up. Where are they going?
Well, if the SEC's watching or FINRA or over-the-counter markets, whoever, this trading is fraud. All of this trading is fraud. And you're watching to kind of catch us out. The fraud is on the trading desks, the computers that you should be monitoring. Anyway,
right.
I had to say that.
Listen, have a great day, and let's see what happens at the end of the day.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ham. People love you.
Sorry, long-winded, but I tried.
The voice is leaving. All right. Cheers. Thanks. Okay, guys, I'm not going to answer any more questions because it's 2:00, and believe it or not, I have things I had to do today, so I'm going to go about it. I appreciate everyone being on it. This should be on YouTube so you can hear it again. Otherwise, I didn't record it, but it should be on YouTube today. So, hey, Anna, thank you very much. And, bless you and your mother. and your father. All right, Skinny and RC LaBelle and Doug and Kevin and Josh and CJ and Diego and Echo and Matthew and everyone. So anyway, peace, love, and happiness. As my dad used to say, over and out.